I want a stronger voice. I want better speech. I want to have a certain accent. How can you make these things possible? Well, it'd be great if I could just say, you have it. And maybe with your mind, your thought process, kind of like in the musical The Music Man, you could suddenly wish it into existence. But sometimes, and this tends to be the case, it takes certain steps. What are the steps you can take and how can you take them? That's even more important. So that you can achieve a stronger voice, clearer speech, or that certain accent. In this video, I want to share with you the how of making your vocal dreams come true. Let's get started. I teach a wide variety of clients how to be better communicators. I have actors who want to remove their accent. They want to have a standard American accent. I have business people who want to have a voice and embodiment of confidence. I have actors who want to learn a certain accent. So what do? We break it down. We look at what you want, we look at where you are now, and we look at how we're going to make that happen. Those steps in between where you are now, what you want to be, how we're going to make it happen. And that is the most important part. That's the how. I want you to think for a moment of being a dancer. One of my clients is a well-known dancer, and that person learned the steps individually, one at a time. It took them time to learn all these different steps. And then they would learn a number, and they would put the different steps together. And at first it was very measured. And then over time, they were able to dance away. And they are a wonderful dancer, and they're able to bring that to life. They're able to embody what's behind it. So it's not just the steps, it's not just individual actions, it's the feeling, it's the meaning, it's the interpretation behind it. The same is true for voice and speech. If you want to have a stronger voice, better articulation, a different accent, it's a three-part process, the 3 Ps. It is practice, perfection, and in between those two, pain. So in the practice part, we identify one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I have an actor from Australia, and a certain sound that's very hard for them is the A sound. Every time they say I say no, A. It's a challenge. And of course, like all of us, I want to just jump in and have a perfect Australian or a perfect American or a perfect Chinese accent. But it takes work. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. For this person, it's a little bit hard right now. So they have to go through that middle part, the pain. And the pain is that sometimes they get it exactly right. Sometimes they're completely off. And how can they find that over and over, that pain of doing it over again? So they do it, let it go, come back to it, let it go, and sooner or later it will hit, I promise. If you want to have a stronger voice, you have to open your mouth. You have to breathe through the diaphragm. If you want to have better articulation, you need to do exercises. And doing a tongue twister the first time might be very challenging, and you might come to it a few days later and realize it's much easier, and then it may become harder again. But if you stick with it over time, it will become easier. So it's that pain in the middle. I have another client who is just, I want this progress to happen more quickly. Understandable. But just like that dancer in the voice and speech world, it's taking those individual aspects, those individual exercises, whether it's strengthening your voice, speaking more clearly, having an accent, and working on one little step and getting that correct, getting that perfected, as my assistant Marcus says, not practicing, practice makes perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. So really practicing over and over again until you have that. Then is the magical moment. Perfecting it. And when you feel that you've really got it going well, then you can let it go. You can let it fly. That's one of the biggest challenges for my actors who are then going for the role, playing the role, auditioning or rehearsing. If it's about articulation or an accent, it can be very much feeling very rehearsed in the beginning that we're speaking in a certain way. But by getting the muscle memory, by going through that painful experience, they can start to release it and start to trust themselves and just fly and let it all go and not worry about, oh, what are my intentions? What are the marks? Where is the camera? That is a step-by-step process. And by practicing step by step, you can then let it go. Having a strong, confident voice in business, in your personal relationships, your daily life, takes practice. One of the things, too, is also the idea of remembering, I've got to put my mind to it. I may be practicing these things with Patrick, with my recorder, as I video myself. And now it's my opportunity to start to put these into practice. By practicing, and by practicing perfectly, or at least as well as you can, you're going to see that progress and you're going to be able to let go, let loose, let fly. Otherwise, you will stay here, you won't experience the pain, and you'll never get to that goal that you want. And whatever that goal is, you can achieve it if you can just have the patience to move through that process. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and, of course, subscribe to my channel.